Check this out. It's what you might call an impulse buy. I just got it. I got it earlier than I expected, but I saw a video about a month ago of my good buddy playing an old guitar that he had from a picture he posted from when he was a teenager of an old Applause acoustic guitar many years ago, back in the early 80s. I remember a buddy of mine had one and he wouldn't sell to me. I loved it. I loved playing it. It wasn't worth a whole lot of money. I offered him $150 for it. He wouldn't buy it. Anyway, I saw this picture and it brought back some cool memories, so I was scrolling on, and there it is on eBay. So I just got one. This is about a 1974 Applause. So some people would just think of Applause as the guitars. They look like Ovations. Yes, they do, but back in these days, they were a little different. Back in the 70s, in the early 80s, these guitars, they were made in the States as well, and they were like the more budget-minded line of guitar. Now, I was hoping it would come with a case, but it didn't. And I hope it's in one piece. That's why we're doing this, just to see what happens. The unboxing. Anyway, and they have an aluminum guitar neck. So they have a dead-eye straight neck. And the thing that was cool about this one is that whoever owned it must have been a player, because they put a L.R. Baggs Anthem, I guess, or whatever it's called. I use an Element, so this is actually a step up in the preamp department. I'm going to slice myself open here if I'm not careful. But I'm not doing such a good job opening up this box and trying to, I think I found it here now. Yeah. There. They just kind of made a box, I guess. I mean, it's packaged pretty good. I mean, like I said, there's no guitar case. Hey, this is cool. There's a bit of, it wasn't a whole lot of money. It was like $500. And that's with a preamp. The preamp alone, I think, they're like $300 something. So I went on a hunch that this guitar maybe, because they played great. But this wasn't a player's guitar. Something special about it, so he was getting with it. And they did a good job packing it for not having a case, let me tell you. And yes, feel the weight of it. What a mess. Now this thing's sunbursted too. I'm going to have to get a pair of scissors here. There was a sunbursted model. It's the one I'm fondest of, so. This is fun. Not a terribly valuable guitar, not terribly sought after, but definitely rare. I might have to pause this and come back. Oh, you see, when you do videos on YouTube, you can splice all this part out of it. Oh my God, what a way to package it. That's hilarious. I guess you got no choice. They wanted. It didn't fly on United, I can tell you. Oh. Maybe I'm going to have to come back in a little while. Yeah, no, it's hilarious. I can't get this off. Call me back in 5 minutes. Part 2 coming up. The mystery will be unraveled. And we're back. All right, so I got it open. That was a chore and a half. Here's what I ended up with. For those of you who are watching, I've been waiting. All right, so this is, I think it's a 70s vintage, late 70s. 76, 77, around there. Not sure. I was looking on it earlier. Anyway, it's got it's got crack finishes, a finish cracked. See there? Yeah. It's not in the it's not the wood, it's just the finish. It's so common on these guitars. And this is an aluminum neck. Aluminum. It's got this plasticky thing on it. And I'm telling you, it's cold too. But yeah, the action's a little too low. We need some adjustment on the bridge. It just buzzes open. The action's too low. I mean, it's easy to raise the action than it is to lower the action. So yeah, no, it looks pretty nice. Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna be playing this as soon as I get the neck adjusted, the bridge adjusted. I'm gonna put through another set of strings on it anyway too. So there you go. Mystery box. All right. This came from California. As far as I know, yeah. So if anybody, the older guys like me, remember these guitars. This is kind of a little rarity anyway. These are the real American Applause from the back in the day. It's going to be a blast. It's got a really nice L.R. Baggs system in with it. I mean, I paid what I paid for that to buy that and have that installed in any guitar I have would cost what I paid for this guitar. So there you go. Cool. Awesome. Have a great day, guys. See you. Okay, so today I just ordered on eBay a guitar that I remember playing when I was just a teenager, essentially, and I was a friend of mine. He had one. They weren't very expensive. They were a low-end Ovation, made for Applause. But there's some people out there who may not be very familiar with this guitar. And I bought it because it was in really nice shape. It has a beautiful sunburst finish. It's a unique design in a lot of ways for not being a high-end Ovation. And I have a nice American Ovation, not to mention a couple Gibsons and whatnot. But I had a anchor of this. And as advertised, it didn't come with the case. But it does have, see that? An LR bags. I think it's an Anthem system is what they call it. Beautiful, beautiful preamp. It's got the phase switch and everything. That alone is worth, with the installation, the charge of putting that in, probably, that was more than what I paid for this guitar. So I was really, really lucky. And I brought it in from California, it came in. Now the good thing, that it doesn't get affected by humidity and climate changes like a normal guitar would. Now, by default, being a cheaper line of Ovations, the Applause. However, this is made in the United States. This particular model was made in the States at the same factory that the Ovations, American Ovations, were made in. Anyway, where I was getting at, this is a plywood top. It's not a solid top. It's a laminate top. However, we all know that laminate tops, although the sound quality is a little less than perhaps a solid top, the good thing about the laminate top is that, once again, pardon me, it's less prone to humidity. Climate changes and stuff like that. So just a little bit more more rugged, I guess, say more durable than a solid spruce top. So that's kind of neat. And it's got, of course, the traditional Ovation. That's actually the same back, the same material that Ovations made their guitars with. The fact I was told that these are all made with seconds, or ones that just weren't quite perfect enough to be on an Ovation. They made them for the Applauses. So that in a nutshell. But this is where it gets really unique about these guitars. This is an aluminum neck. It's not a wooden neck. It's aluminum. The fretboard actually is all solid aluminum. I'm not sure. It looks like it's a painted material, and but it looks like an ebony fretboard, but it's some sort of a paint or something. Because you see some of these that are well worn and they wear right through, and you see the silver spots where the aluminum has been. You can see the aluminum on the edges of the frets. These frets are solid into this. When the frets wear down, there's ways to do it. I'm not sure, but this won't be a problem. This guitar is in really, really good shape. The fretboard's in good shape. The headstock, everything's in good shape. It's got finished cracks. That's about it. This thing sounds great plugged in. Playing it live. Now, the other thing that's weird about it is just that from here to here is a floating piece of aluminum, because it's one solid strip of aluminum. So when I had to set it up, I had to and another nice thing about this actually is that it's a bolt-on neck. You undo the bolts, the neck comes right off, and you can do work on the neck that way too. I'm not that good at rebuilding guitars. I don't do much. I don't do fret level or anything like that. I do basic setups, but I did take the neck off. And what I had to do to make this playable, because the strings buzzed so bad that these strings here just weren't doing anything. You can't really bend the neck, or there's no truss rod adjustment. Rather, it's a solid piece of aluminum on this plastic material that looks like wood. I think it's like a pattern that's into the plastic, whatever it is. From here, it's just the aluminum continues on, so it actually goes like this, and then it kind of tapers a little bit, this section here. So it looks rather scary for the action, but honestly, I don't play up here. And from here to here, it's just like butter. Once again, I have an Ovation, and I know what a really good Ovation is. I've had Balladeers, I've had Legends, I have an Elite, I've had several Elites over the years. I had a Glenn Campbell model. So I know that this is not really an Ovation as such, but it's a fine guitar, and I'm gonna just play a little bit of just through the phone camera. You should still get an idea. Yeah, this LR bags. And one thing, when I have a guitar that I have to plug it in, my biggest turn off from a guitar, my biggest reason to get rid of a guitar quickly is if I can't get the strings to balance with a pickup. And check this out. Beautiful. checked the serial number. I checked the serial number on this guitar, and apparently it's a 78. So, for 500 bucks, what do you think? Right on. I'll add this to my collection. Didn't come with a case. No biggie. Boy, it was some hard to unpackage. They had a well-packed, the people I bought this from. It was actually a pawn shop in California. I found it and got here really good. I mean, I think I really had to wait 2 or 3 weeks, really. The strings loosened back. The neck was real messy, though. They should have told me that. Luckily, I have a bit of common sense. I had this. Okay, this is what I had to shim. A lot of shimming went into this, so there is probably I probably lost some sound energy. I don't know. I don't know what it sounded like new, and I don't know what it would have sounded like without the shims. So I can't be the judge. If I had to do that in the guitar, I knew I'd played it before I'd done it. That might be a different story. So what I had to do is when I unbolted, there's 2 bolts inside the body. You can't really see it, but there's a bolt there. There's 2 bolts. You take those bolts out, the neck comes right off. I put a shim on the base of the socket, the body socket for the joint, where the bottom screw goes in. I used pickguard material, leftover pieces of some pickguard material, so I shimmed it with that. So I did 2 layers of that right there, 2 little pieces to fit right in, so when the neck goes back on, it just gives it a bit more relief that way. Which seemed to be just about enough. I was going to mess with it. I only had to do the strings once. I'm not messing with it anymore. I had to put a shim under the saddle right here. Now, this is backwards, obviously. This is a right-handed guitar. So this would be the high E string. Yes, on this end. Oh, no, sorry. I put a shim, a full shim. Because you can't just use a partial shim over a ribbon. A ribbon pickup. You would get a hot spot, and all you would get would be like really bright and then dead all the way down. So yeah, so it's a full shim. But up here in the nut where it gets interesting is I took the nut out and I have a shim on this half of the nut. Now honestly, if you want to get a bone nut, you could probably cut it, fit it in, and cut a bone nut and improve the sound. I literally have not put a penny into this. I just put some shim material. So I shim there, I shim there, I shim there. Oh, and I shimmed underneath here too, just because it would have been floating too much. So this way it's kind of like sitting on something. I put some pickguard material underneath here. In fact, I would like to, if I change the strings, I'll take the neck off again, and maybe I'll put one more layer, just because I'm fussy. That's about it. Anyway, so yeah, the action is extremely high here. And I don't care. I don't play. I'm a strummer anyway. But down here, oh my god, this place is nice as any of my Gibsons or anything I have. And plugged in. That's sweet. Sweet. A 1978 Applause made by Ovation and made in the United States. United States made. This is not made in Korea or China or anything like that. And it's sunburst. I like the sunburst version better. Nice pickguard. It looks good, which is another unusual thing. It's the first time you don't see Ovations make pickguards, use pickguards in any of their guitars, but they do it on the Applause. I think it looks kind of sharp, shiny, and I love sunburst. I'm a sucker for a sunburst. Not bad, hey? Well, add that to the collection. Not a breaking, and it wasn't much of an expense. Like I said, for 500 bucks, I know that's a $300 pickup. Then you're going to pay $100 to get a technician to put it in. Well, there's $400. For another $100, we'll throw in the guitar. There you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you find one of these online, don't be scared. If they need adjustment, the good thing is they come apart. You can actually take them apart. Tuners aren't that great, but they're still in perfect shape. They're just, you can feel that they weren't very good, and it hasn't been played that much. Yeah, I'm digging it.